Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Ken Shreve here with a breakdown of the action in today's session, where we saw strong gains in the market, a bullish day on the heels of that CPI report, Ken.
Yeah, inflation pretty tame, just what the market wanted. So we got a nice big rally on Wall Street today. We'll take a look at three stocks that had really good days on a day that saw very strong breadth. Celsius, big earnings report, not surprising there. Stock responded positively. Lithium producer Albemarle, which was today's stock of the day, showed good price action today, and also Photronics in the chip equipment group, looking pretty good.
Yeah, we will analyze those three charts. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. The NASDAQ today up 2.9% by session's close. We also had the S&P 500 up 2.1%, the Dow up 1.6%, and the Russell 2000 a strong showing as well, up 3% in the stock market today.
Yeah, it's so the NASDAQ held a strong gain all day. It was going to be a tough volume comparison compared to Tuesday because volume was slightly above average on Tuesday. So we could come in a little bit lower on the NASDAQ in terms of volume, but still a very constructive session. The NASDAQ opened strongly and really didn't give back much of those gains. I think the broad market can say the same thing. So this confirmed uptrend that we've been in for a while is looking that much better after today.
That's right. And we do have a trend line that we've been looking at from close to some highs, and now we're breaking above that, Ken. Does that seem significant to you? I guess the trick now is, can we stay above this level? Might be a tall order.
Yeah, it could be a tall order, but again, it's fine when the market pulls back. But any pullbacks that we see from here, we want to see volume quiet down, just like an individual stock. We see a stock rising in heavy volume and then falling in light volume. We feel pretty good about the uptrend, so we'll say the same thing for the major stock indexes. That if we're rising in decent volume and we're falling in light volume, that bodes well for the uptrend. So. Things looking pretty good here, and I mentioned breadth has been actually getting better for about a little more than 3 weeks now, and today we had winning stocks on the NASDAQ beating losers by better than 3-1. On the NYSE, it was more than 5-1 positive to negative, so that's a good thing as well.
Yeah, and while the NASDAQ has been above its early June highs for quite a while, let's see how the S&P 500 and Dow have fared. Looking at the S&P here, now above those early June highs, so that seems like a good sign. Let's also see for the Dow 0 DJIA, rather, in MarketSmith, the same story here, getting above some key resistance today.
Yeah, and you can see for both the S&P and the Dow, volume has been pretty light for quite a while now. But so volume today looks like it is going to come in. It's not showing it yet on the chart, but looks like we get higher volume on the NYSE. So that was good to see behind the gains for the Dow.
And it looks like we lost Ken, but yes, we did see some strong gains across the board for the major indexes. So now let's also take a look at the Russell 2000. Here's the IWM ETF. As mentioned, a strong day here for small caps as well. Now that 200-day line is within shouting distance, so we'll have to see if that could be the next stop for small caps there. We also do want to take a look at the 10-year Treasury yield, DRTNX here. Not much movement today, kind of holding in a similar trading range as the last couple of sessions here, off by just a smidge today, still below that 3% mark, right around 2.786 for the 10-year yield there. And moving on, let's take a look at Celsius, CELH. Up on its earnings report today, almost 10%. Some strong volume behind that move. Ken, what are your thoughts on this earnings move from Celsius?
Looking for another entry here. This is a stock that made a very, very nice move over that 72 pivot, and it worked its way higher. And you can see it was a quick little 2-day pullback. Stock fell below the 10-day moving average yesterday. So we're going to see if this can actually form a handle, and that's where kind of a downward drifting handle where the last remaining sellers get shaken out of a stock. You've got one forming right now. If you go to the weekly chart, you'll still see you're not going to see a hand. Yeah, you're not going to see a handle yet. But what we'd like to see, and Celsius could find its way on leaderboard if we can just get a little downward sloping handle on the weekly chart here. That could pave the way for another breakout from this big cup consolidation here. So this stock is showing a lot of strength and support. The numbers were very solid, and we've been talking about this big distribution agreement that they just signed with Celsius. That
With
could
Pepsi, yeah.
I'm sorry, with Pepsi. So seems to be good support here, and believe it or not, this one still could be in the early stages of a move. So we'll see, but we have it on the watch list for now.
And it is very powerful, but like you said, it would be great to see a little bit more of a pullback or a pause here. So those who are in it may be locking in some profits at this point, but a pullback and reversal off of the 21-day line would be interesting here, I think. And if it does that, I think that might get us that little bit of downward movement that you're looking for on the weekly chart too.
Yeah, no, exactly right, and I totally agree with that. It would be nice to just see a pullback, maybe down to the 21-day line. Right now, you see the stock has been consolidating for about four days here. So this could be an example. By the end of this week, by Friday's close, we could see a handle on the daily chart, but may not see one on the weekly. But I usually prefer to see a nice down week on the weekly chart, showing me that there's at least some sort of shakeout. So. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one maintain its market leadership. I don't think it's actionable right now, but again, if we just get that price action we're looking for, maybe just a little pullback off highs here and light volume, that could set the stage for another leg up.
All right, yeah, we'll have to see what we get, but it's currently about 31.5% above the 50-day line. So like you said, well extended here. We'll see if we can get that bit of a pullback. Let's also talk about Albemarle, lithium stocks with a strong day today. Albemarle up almost 6%. Looks like we didn't quite get above average volume here today, but the price gain, pretty notable.
Yeah, nice close near highs here, and volume was heavy in the early going, which can happen, and then it trailed off as the session wore on. Not too concerned about that. This is another leaderboard stock, and it's kind of interesting talking about this handle that we'd like to see form with Celsius. On the weekly chart, you had a little handle last week. It wasn't much of a shakeout here, but we did put the buy point at 250.25, and it moved past that today, which is why we put it on leaderboard. So nice to see it close nicely above our entry. And Albemarle is they had earnings last week, and it wasn't a great response to earnings, even though the bottom line growth and the top line growth was very, very positive. They also significantly raised their full year revenue guidance. So there was a lot of good news in this earnings report. So clearly the dominant lithium player at this point. So happy to have it on leaderboard.
Yeah, and it wasn't alone. It was definitely a group move today. So we like seeing that when it's not just a lone wolf in the group acting well. If you have that group strength supporting the move, that can check off one extra box with something that we like to see.
Absolutely, like to see like to see strong breadth in the market, and I like to see strong breadth in an industry group. I like to see multiple stocks participating, and you have that in the specialty chemicals group.
All right, and last but not least, let's take a look at PLAB Photronics in the semi-equipment group. After testing the 21-day line in yesterday's session on Tuesday, it was able to close above that level, but a bounce today in almost average volume, up about 5% here. So back in this buy range. Ken, does this seem like an actionable name in the semi group to you?
I think so because yesterday was a really difficult day for chip equipment companies. We had that revenue warning from Micron that really hurt a lot of the really big chip equipment companies like Lam Research and KLA, among others. Photronics is interesting. It sold off yesterday, but look at how it came down to its 21-day moving average, found some support, closed off lows. So there were buyers in there yesterday, at least to some extent, supporting the stock. And then today, we rally back in light volume, but it's still, to me, it kind of moved back into a buy area here. So even though volume was not as heavy as it was yesterday, I think this one is fine. It broke out over that 2304 pivot point. There wasn't a whole lot of volume behind the breakout, and anytime a stock forms a little cup pattern like this, again, it's nice to see a little handle form before the stock breaks out. And Photronics tried to do that, kind of a short handle, but I like the way it found support yesterday, and had a good close today, albeit in light volume. But this is a company that makes photo masks, which are key in the making and production of integrated circuits. So pretty interesting business. Earnings coming up at the end of the month, and has a lot of positive qualities here.
Yeah, really strong growth and a great reaction to the last report. We'll have to see if it can repeat. And not only did we see that supporting action at the 21-day line, just want to mention the closing range here of 49%. If we see it above 40, that is a good sign. So we did see some supporting action there for the stock, as you mentioned, Ken. And that is it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will, of course, be back with more tomorrow morning on IBD Live. So don't miss it. Investors.com/IBD Live for all the details. We will see you there, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow after the close.